Hello, future self. So today is November 1st, so I decided I wanted to flip through the entire October notebook. So let's see, let's make some room. Do you like my strategically placed aesthetic messiness? After I cleaned up the real messiness, because that's what happened. Okay, let's move this over here. Bam. So this entire notebook is October. So let's get started. This is the first time I have done this particular calendar. Usually I use these tear-off paper calendars that I got from La Palma. To track. This one was just tracking periods and migraines and pain. So I decided maybe I would have a different tracking calendar. This one does periods, migraines, gyms, PT, body pain, dog walks, moods, events, and days that I forgot to do it. I think this is like the wrong things to track. So next month I'm going to change sort of like what is being tracked here. So keep going, keep going. I haven't actually done this before, I don't think. So I'm not totally sure what is going to happen. But, notes from events, doodlings to keep myself occupied, experimenting with the backing of stickers. These are like little smiley face stickers, and this is the like paper backing it comes with, and this black paper, just seeing like sort of what draws on it, stuff like that. More experiments with those, the sticker part of those, and collaging together printer labels, which are what these little like rectilinear ones are, and then adding tape and more draws. I drew my water bottle a bunch for some reason, probably because it was just around. There are many pages in here that are just sort of like notes on things. This is a prototype I've made in VR actually, and it's tracking valence and affective the affective circumflex, which is the pleasantness, which is valence, and arousal, which is like how much energy you feel. This is from one of the books I've been reading, and so I made a little thing in VR that would let me sort of track those two things, because instead of tracking my brain's interpretation of bodies, my body's state to be my mood, I wanted to try and track it directly through valence and arousal. More water bottles. I started writing this future of work talk because originally it was going to be in November. Now it's moved to April, so I have ceased work on that. More water bottles. Lots and lots of sticker experiments. Sometimes it feels like I just want to like put as many stickers on a page as possible. It just, for some reason, makes me feel good about what I'm doing. You may hear Steve in the background upstairs. Kittens are getting breakfast, so kittens and Steve's like to make lots of noises. So some of them wildly unsuccessful. I didn't like either of these pages, but one thing I did learn on this page was more of this sticker backing, sort of crinkling. More stickers, outlining them. Oh Lord, there are so many. I guess that's what happens when you have an entire month's notebook. There's like all of these wild ones. This one is like, I can also make minimalist work. I don't know if you knew. More experiments with just like sort of sticker maximalism, drawing on the stickers before I take them apart and reassemble them. Sticker backing, incorporating three-dimensional like puppy stickers. What is this about? Oh, this is more work on the future of work talk that has been moved. So yeah, it'll be good to know that that's where this is, so I can come back and use it in April when I'm writing that talk. Much bigger sticker sheets were used here, and the drawing, I really like how these came out, sort of like the layering up of book paper plus teacher stickers plus this sort of crayon drawing on stickers. experimenting with cutting the stickers into shapes before placing them. This is all just like one large sticker sheet that I drew on, usually meant to make like custom printer labels. Drew on, cut out, really liked this. This image, well, not exactly a tape face, it is sort of like in the tape face family. Just more experiments with those techniques. Lots and lots of techniques. This says ambitious, thinking about, we were talking in Vim Live about our Harry Potter houses, and I am definitely Slytherin, because I am so freaking ambitious. It's not always a good thing. More sort of like drawing on these label sets and placing them. This page came about, I have a bunch of these, what are they? Sort of photo book pages where you put the photo in and it has like a plastic sheet that goes over it. And I accidentally drew on the back of a bunch of the sticker sheets, and then I couldn't use them because this is just wax paper, because the glue wouldn't stick them and all this stuff, so I just put them in here. Mistake page. Experimenting with grids and relationships of things, vehicles that are a certain color, more ambitious. I guess I should have come up with like a way to incorporate the text more. A lot of this text is like how I'm feeling, or what I'm working on at the time. You know, like this one is about feeling like I'm failing, or like being talentless, and a lot of that I've realized is when I feel most tired, I also am most likely to think that I am a stupid loser who can't do anything ever. And oh, this one is actually great. So I realized something in my work this month, which is that, so this image is of an experiment that's used for sort of experiential blindness, to reveal experiential blindness. And this image in particular, like if you don't know what it is, it's just a bunch of blobs. And if you do know what it is, it's a fly. It might be hard to see from this angle, but... And once you know it's a fly, your brain can like never unsee the fly. Or bee, sometimes it's a bee. And I realized that like experiential blindness is like a huge thing in my work. That a lot of times I am trying to root out experiential blindness and then give people the experience of revealing it. So, oh, Steve and I started playing this game called High-Low Kudos. I can't remember where I found it, but sometimes at night we decide like what our high was, what our low was, and a kudos to someone. So that has been really fun, sort of reinforcing the day, since I have such a hard time remembering it. This is a medication list that got retired because I needed a better one. How to make drawings with all of your to-do post-its. It's a thing that I have tried. Yay, tiny pages. Oh, so this is an experiment I did in prioritizing tasks called Plan Tomorrow Today. It was a book that I got from the library. And basically the plan was that you pick the 3 most important tasks for the next day, and then you pick one that is absolutely the most important, and you say like when they should be done by. And this lasted for all of 2 days. I realized that this is just not how I work, and it doesn't go well with my working style. So I gave up. More water bottle drawings. I thought that I could like break up my practice into like very important tasks and less important tasks, but it just doesn't really work, unfortunately. These diagrams are sort of trying to incorporate cognitive behavioral therapy, which are tracking thoughts, actions, and feelings, and how those 3 things sort of like interplay with each other. And instead of using feelings, going back into that affective diagram that I showed you earlier with the little circle, and replacing feeling with valence and arousal, and just sort of experimenting with how that would change mood tracking, because the question you ask definitely changes the answer that you get. Tape base, look at that. Good old traditional tape base with some good teeths. Sometimes you just gotta go back to what you're good at. I really liked this one, actually. I like the colors I used. I like that there are some that are blank, incorporated from another page. I just really like the way this one came out. It's sort of architectural. Also, this one is really weird. It has all these... I tried drawing on one of these like very small dot pages. The drawing comes out very differently, and then the dots, like placing them is just... This is weird, but sometimes you have to try weird shit like this to move forward. These are two of my favorite pages in October's notebook. Both of them are a sheet of heart stickers that was drawn on. The backing was peeled off and placed down first, and then the stickers were put down in a different order to how they originated. So, yeah, both of these came out really beautiful. And down here it says, material thought, not art. Oh yeah, this one too. Oh, I love all four of these. These are all very success. Here's one where I used 1.5 sheets of hearts. So it has like, it's much longer. And I think that this works less well than these, just the relationship between the figure and the ground. Also beautiful. I really just love this whole series. I'm not going to flip through this whole thing, but this is basically like my memory test results, and I did a bunch of research on what every little test means, and I drew on them and stuff, but I've talked about that in previous videos. This is an Azure worksheet that helps you sort of decide on what machine learning application you should use for the thing you want to do, and this is because I've been researching a lot about like how to do machine learning for people who don't like programming or want to program or want to do it sort of like on the fly with their hands in a notebook with AR, stuff like that. So that's what I'm working on right now. Ooh, this one is cute. It has Steve being eaten by a bean shark. Yeah, it's good. Future of Work Talk. More of these sticker drawings. So many of these sticker drawings. Now see, this is a drawing I made of Steve at the UCSF library. Steve and I have been going around to a bunch of libraries and sort of deciding on which is the bestest library. We both really like UCSF. And I made this drawing of Steve when he was across the table from me, and he thinks it is ugly, but I think it is adorable. This is my little how-to ballot insert that I got from, it was an event that I went to that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, I finished my ballot all the way back October 11th because I am so on top of things. This page I was all writing about like responsibility and intellect and how those two things are related. And here's some more of this just like crinkling the back page. A lot of this is just sort of like, oh look, there's a dog farting. It's very cute. Cute dog farting. My hips this is sort of around when my hip started hurting a lot again, so that's not my favorite way. So yeah, I started drawing all these like very angry, in pain things. Look, there's the butt, and over here this is where my hip pain is, because it is very frustrating to be in pain all the time, and so these are frustrating and pain all the time drawings. That's what those are. Yeah. So this one is, I made the drawing first, then I put the drawing in the copier, I transferred it onto transparent labels, and then I just like stuck the labels all over, so that's why it has this sort of like 2-image quality. More of these ones. Shoosh. You can tell when I'm in pain when this is what counts as a day's drawing work. I think I skipped, I'm sure I skipped like 1 or 2 days in October. Oh look, there's a tape face. But yeah, all these tiny ones are basically like, I am very frustrated and this is all I can handle pages. Another tape face. Look at that tiny mustache. So cute. Oh yeah, so this is sort of when I started doing more printer experiments. So making a drawing, then copying it onto different kinds of paper. This one was copied onto a sort of white paper and then stuck onto lined, and then copied again onto the lined paper with little objects added. I was basically just experimenting with using the printer, what things need to work, you know, how to make things work basically, and how to incorporate other materials. Here's that drawing of Steve again, which I guess you can't really see because there's no backing paper to it. I guess I should have put a backing paper there. I should probably have right now. Do I have any backing paper? Well, we can just use this. So this is that drawing of Steve I did, but printed twice onto transparency at slightly different positions, and then each one of them is colored, so you can see the... I'm going to put a backing paper there so it doesn't bleed over into this other day. So yeah, more printer experiments, copying an image onto transparency labels and sliding them around. Oops. Copying an image onto paper, copying an image onto stickers and covering itself up with them. Putting objects in the printer, copying the objects, copying over the same paper over and over again, printing on the same paper multiple times, like sort of building up ink. Printing drawn images. Oh, this was, I went to critique. We have like a new media critique group that I attend. So it was from that. Also, notes from that, little drawings to keep my hand in, keep my brain engaged in the topic of conversations. I don't know what this is. It's a pig, bat, spider, vampire bunny. Yeah, it's very, very draw. More drawings of Steve. I draw lots of drawings of Steve. Coraline. I guess we were watching Coraline the movie. More printouts from Kaiser about their freaking attempts to therapy for disability. It's kind of dumb. Oh, this paper I found. It is a Strathmore sort of kids draw and write book. So I ripped it up and I made individual pages out of it. And so I've used a bunch of them here to like sort of incorporate the image in the text in a new way. I love just finding new quirky little papers to add and seeing how they change what I'm making. I have shown this section in another video. I'll just go through it pretty quickly. Transparency, and then paper, and then the back side of that paper onto this transparency. And sort of as you turn through it, the ink turns first, and there's like, oh yeah, so good. There's a bunch of like negative space and the color shifts and everything. This is one of my most successful printer experiments. I really love having the printer down here in the studio. You know, drawing on paper that's been printed. Oh, these are all of the, I hate waste when it comes to notebooks. I do throw some stuff away, but I try not to. So all of the 3-hole punches I have saved, and periodically I make like 3-hole punch glue drawings. This I've also shown in another video, so I'm not going to open it up, but it's a 3D, well, I guess I will open it up slightly. It's a 3D sort of paper recreation of the studio that I'm currently in. I will figure out how to link that other video that I made of it, but I don't want to go through it right now. Bam! This one was inspired by this one, and it is also a fold-out thing. It's far less three-dimensional. It's just, well, you can't really see it. But yeah, it all folds out and has different drawings on different pages, and yeah, I really like doing these like sort of page experiments. How much can you fit in one page? More printer experiments, starting with an image this time. Printing the image, onto paper. Crinkling the paper, sort of shoving the paper over into the corner. Ooh, come on. Bam! Just experimenting with that. My camera stopped recording, so I'm trying to set up something approximate to the shot I had before. Anyways, recipe that I tried and turned out terribly. It tasted like breakfast bars when it was supposed to be dessert. Oh, this is a new thing I started doing, birth and deathing my Post-it to-do lists. I think there are a few more of them in here. Voiceover notes for a video that I made. Oh, I got this pamphlet, I guess, in the mail from SF MoMA. So I tore it up and made it into pages. Pay no attention to this mindless kitchen doodle over the commodification of Rauschenberg. A lot of this stuff that they're selling was all about Rauschenberg. I have no eye for improvement. Weird drawing of a leg, incorporating Louise Bourgeois' spiders and rubbings from cans. Can you tell we got an SF MoMA catalog in the mail, which I chopped up to make into pages. I like pointless sometimes, and a lot of these experiments sometimes feel like that, like it's just pointless putting together of things, but a lot of this is how I think and how I work, and this is how I make progress. A quilted coloring book from these sort of grids of images. Redacted, which is funny because it was just blank paper. That was a Rauschenberg. Or just a picture of a blank piece of paper reified. Art jokes. Art jokes. The part of what fed Rauschenberg's imagination and kept him going was a consistent invention with materials and process. Same, bruh! I really like sort of thinking in materials and mushing things together and having them reappear later in other projects. More voiceover stuff and notes and how to think with bubbles and what's depth and what's height, and I don't know where this came from. A bubble chain looks more interesting before you fill them up with all that endless chatter, but then what's the point of them? Look, there's a draws of me. It's interesting. I think a lot of what the things I'm interested in my practice are like fairly inexpensive materials. Oh, there goes the kitten through the cat door. Fairly inexpensive materials, using like trash or using leftovers and reincorporating them together. I made all these weaving drawings here, just using crayon and found paper. Some notes about what I was reading with my weavings. I acquired this poster at a gallery show that I went to. There's a video about it earlier on. Some strip pages, so these were constructed from scraps and then drawn on. This is a copy, I should take it out. This is a copy of the notebook itself. Drawn on and folded. You can tell it's basically like one page that way. And then folded to make this page. And on the back. Oh, it's great. You can tell, let's see, I think it's here. So it's a copy of this section of the notebook. And this is one of the reasons I love using a 3-ring binder as opposed to like a fancier form of notebook, is that you're not really bound to one kind of paper or one size, or you know, you want to do printer experiments, you can do that. 3-ring binders are the sort of great equalizer. Some little short pages you can pull out. Whoosh! Whoosh! This one's basically a zine. It has many ways of folding out. Oh, more sticker pages. Just more notes. Oh, okay. So this is, we're getting towards the end here. This is, I changed out all the masks in Masking Machine, and the way that I did that was I printed out the outlines for how the computer aligns the mask. I printed them out on paper, and then each of them was made by hand. So the original way that I made it was that they were all made in the computer, but this time I decided I would draw them, and if the X or the check mark means I did or didn't use them. This was a tape base, so now I get to like wear one of my tape base drawings, which is really fun. More tape, that one got used. A rubbing, a drawing, some other kinds of drawings and stuff, stickers, and sort of an outline of my face. This was my 50 drawings on one page challenge that I did earlier. There's also another video on this, so I will continue to go, but it's color on one side and black and white on the other. And then my last page is just homework and notes and thinking through things, so that's the end.